What's going on, my Sagittarius Galaxy? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another episode of the MCU movie review series. So today I'm reviewing the second movie of Phase 3 of the MCU, that is Doctor Strange. This movie was released in late 2016. It was released in October in Hong Kong, but released a month later in America and the UK in November. I didn't really saw it at the time in 2016. I saw it 2 years later in 2018 on TV after I saw Infinity War. I watched it for the first time in 2018 on TV. I just go, meh. It was good, but it didn't blow me away like the first Guardians in the Galaxy movie, then the second movie, then Deadpool. I know it's not part of the MCU, but that movie blew me away. It's just like it got that meh feeling when I watched Doctor Strange, and then I saw it recently on the Disney Plus app, and my opinion's still the same. This is kind of like, it's debatable. This movie is kind of like a mid-table Marvel movie, a mid-table MCU movie, or like a bottom half movie, right route down to the bomb. I don't think it's route down the bomb. It's very close to the bomb. It's a bit debatable topic about this movie, Doctor Strange. It's kind of like meh. It's just a standard origin superhero movie. It's directed by Scott Derrickson. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Stephen Strange. The visual effects in this movie was fucking awesome when, Stephen Strange was going into what's called the virtual planes. You had this with hands. He's growing out like small hands in the top of his fingers. It's just like, it was creepy, but at the same time cool. You had that reaction to go, oh shit, and then when he saw like a butterfly flying out of space, it's just like, holy shit, that is good, and also the fight scenes in London and New York, it's good special effects. I think this movie was nominated of a Academy Award for virtual effects, special effects. This is kind of the same thing. They didn't use, I think they did use, I don't think that, yeah, I think they use CGI. It's typical, Marvel movies, to this day, or even type of sci-fi movies with a lot of CGI, but it's just what it is. I can't complain about it. It's virtual effects, that really was the bright part of this movie. The plot is just kind of like meh to me. Could be a lot better. So, yeah, you got Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange. Some people compare him to Tony Stark because they're both assholes. I can't disagree. Yeah, with Tony Stark, he's kind of like a likable asshole. He can be like a prick with a pepper, but besides that, he's kind of like a asshole in a likable way. With Stephen Strange, he's kind of like a proper asshole. He did like respect with Mordo and a little bit of Wong, but he's kind of like an asshole, And also with Christine Palmer, we'll get to her character a bit shortly. Yeah, and also, yeah, and the jobs are completely different. Yeah, they're both successful, Tony Stark and Stephen Strange. With Tony Stark is a weapons malfunctioner, he followed his dad's legacy, with Stark's industry. As for, with Stephen Strange, he's a successful surgeon, a very successful doctor, he's rich, and the origins are completely different because, Tony got kidnapped by the Ten Rings, but in Afghanistan, seeing, like, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army getting killed by the Ten Rings. As for Stephen Strange, he got, he basically, he survived this nasty car crash. He lost his use of his hands, and, he went to Nepal, trained with, get to the Ancient One, and get to that character also a little bit shortly, and he became this magical doctor. Anyway, we got Rachel McAdam as Christine Palmer. Yeah, like I said, Stephen was kind of like an asshole, because after the car crash, he lost use of his hands, he had another surgery. It because he wants his hands grow faster. But yeah, you can tell he's cared about getting his hands fixed because I think he lost his job as a surgeon. You got like Christine kind of like helped him like shaved one scene like he's shaving Steven's facial beard off, and also he was answering like the French doctor about another like a procedure, and he said no, and he said about basically yeah Christine said about you don't have money, you don't have about focus about something else. Sorry, can't remember the dialogue. He kind of like being snidey and mean, said about like focus on different parts of your life, and then I can't remember the dialogue. I don't. So when I watch movies, sometimes I don't remember the dialogue. It's just what it is. But he said about like like you, something like that. I can't remember. Like I said, and Christine says, this is the part you apologize, and he said, no, this is the part you leave. And why you here bringing cheese like you're bringing your friend on a picnic? It's just like very crappy dialogue. That's just me. Anyway, he kind of was a dick to, I don't know, I think she's not really a love interest in this movie. She's kind of like friends with benefits with Stephen Strange. I think they were like couple in the past, but kind of broke up, and also in Stephen Strange's watch, and it was words underneath the watch says it's. I'm guessing like Christine gave Stephen the watch, so I think they had feelings, but they're not really like a love interest in this movie. So anyway, you got Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. She's also the bright spot in this movie. I think she played that character very well, and the character, in my opinion, the Ancient One, is very most underrated character of the MCU. She got killed off because, and also like with Christine's character, she helps Stephen save her life after got stabbed by what's it called? Kai Kulias. Get to his character a little bit later on. He got stabbed like this glass part bit. Basically got stabbed like this spike thing. I don't know what it's called. And you got like Christine on his own trying to save Stephen after Stephen fought this what's it called, the Xylots. That's basically like Kai Kulias' henchman. And also helped the Ancient One, but unfortunately she got killed off. I'll talk about her death later on in this review. Anyway, so then for Rachel McAdams, people compare her character to Rosario Dawson's character in the Marvel Netflix show, because that's Claire Temple. Unfortunately, I can't disagree. I think the reason why I think like Kevin Feige, who's producing the Marvel movies, kind of hint that character is kind of like their version to Claire Temple. Unfortunately, she's not. I think it's so predictable. They're trying to convince that, oh, that's Claire Temple in the MCU, but it's not. But I don't know. It's two different characters. I think at the time they don't have the rights of that character because Netflix would produce the TV shows of Marvel, and then when the Marvel Netflix shows got cancelled, I'm guessing the character could come back because at the time Disney got the rights, so it's fingers crossed. So anyway, so we got Kai Kulias, played by Mads Mikkelsen. He's just a standard generic villain. It was just kind of like meh to me. He killed the Ancient One. Her death was so dark. So she kind of like fall into the sky. Fall into the sky, crash through a building, through like some glass, and hit the pavement. Not like completely splattered, her body's completely splattered on the ground. No, she kind of like followed through the buildings, went through the glass, and hit the pavement. And then you got Steven and his colleagues. This is after his hands was fixed, And also, by the way, Stephen kind of was a dick towards the Ancient One because she's trying to help Stephen to get the power of his hands back, trying to heal his hands, but basically he don't believe the fairy tale thing. He said about like I spend the whole last dollar to get here, and you tell me about some healing by beliefs, some shit like that, and I can see. He said I can see through you, and then. You know, the Ancient One, kind of did that typical karate thing with the pushing the opponents through one hand to the chest, and then Steven's body went, his soul went out of his body. She did the same thing to the Hulk, years later in Endgames. That's like in 2019, and the timeline is so fucking off in the Marvel movies, like let's talk about Endgames a little bit. So when Hulk travels back in time, this is in the scene with the Avengers part. They're trying to get the Infinity Stone. He saw the Ancient One, and the Ancient One says about where's Stephen Strange, and she said you're 6 years too early. So this movie is kind of set to take place in 2018, 2019. So yeah, and the blip took 5 years, but it's kind of like all over the place, the timeline. And also when in this movie, like they never do like a. It's very funny that in the quarter part of the movie, with Stephen Strange, he's just a doctor, and then later on in the movie, he's a master of magic. It's just kind of like really. And also, the movie was rushed. I think the reason why this movie didn't really receive... It did okay, but I think it has to do with the timing of the movie. It was about nearly 2 hours. I wish they had more time to really develop the story more. That was a big disservice to this, to really the story. Like, he's also doing, like, he's been in Nepal for about... He went to, what's it called? Was it Kemataj? That's the name of the temple. He's there for 1 week, and all of a sudden he's a magic magician. Like, it's like with Batman, he went to, I don't know, it wasn't, it could be some part in the Far East, to meet what's his name, Ra's al Ghul, and got trained by the League of Assassins, and then also a week later he's Batman. No, he spent years and months training to become Batman. It doesn't work overnight. That it's just like really. I think the timeline, the time frame, it's kind of like very off in future Marvel movies, and also this movie. Yeah, that was dark. That Ancient Deaths one, and also said about like this guy. They kind of mentioned this person called what's his name, Jonathan Pangborn. He's on the same path as Steven, because he lost his feeling of his hands. He's paralytic. I think he was paralyzed for the waist down. He went to the same place as Steven. And when this is the bit when the Ancient One dies. He talked about like you went to me to tell me how I heal Jonathan Pangborn. He didn't. He said about Steven says like he used magic to work. So anyway, and it's really funny in the post-credit scene. And also Mordo, I'm not pronouncing the actor's name. It's kind of like, I'm not going to attempt to use it, pronounce it. So, anyway, Mordo he was kind of like this heel part throughout the whole bulk of this movie. And then in the post-credit scene, after he knows that the Ancient One using dark magic, used the powers of the dark dimension, something with, she's kind of helping with, Damanu, was it Damanu? That's the, this creature, will get to it a little bit shortly in this review. He basically in the post-credit scene kind of confronts Pangborn, and I think Pangborn's going to hit Mordo with a crowbar, but instead, Mordo basically grabbed, like, he hit Pangborn, he grabs something throughout his waist, and he falls down. I'm guessing, he's now paralyzed once again, and he said about too many sorcerers, because I think because Steven kind of like broke the rules of physics. He's used the time stone kind of introduced in this movie. It was called the I think it's called the Eye of Anamoto, if that's the name of it. I'm gonna call it the time stone. It's gonna get fucking confusing. Like here so far this is the 5th or 6th. I think it was the 5th Affinity Stone. We had the Tararak, that is the Mind Stone. You got the Power Stone, that is, I think it was the Orb. The Earther, that's the reality stone. The Soul Stone, that's in Fission. So yeah, I think it's six reality stone. I think the next one will be at, I think it'll be at Guardian. It won't be at Guardians 2. I think it's 6 stones. I don't know. My memory's a bit fuzzy. I'll talk about it when I review Infinity War. That'll be a couple weeks later. Anyway, so yeah, nothing much about this story. Yeah, it's just a standard superhero movie. And also, they focus on a lot of magic in this movie. It had this magic and also this martial arts 5 in this movie. Like, we're gonna see a martial arts movie in Phase 4 with what's it called? Was it the Inthals? I think that's the name. I don't know if that's a TV show or a movie. And also with Shang-Chi, The Legends of the Ten Rings, that's a martial arts movie. And we saw it in Iron Fist, I kind of like it. So, it had its 5 in this movie. And also, it's focused on magic in Marvel. Because the last few movies, because MCU is, at this moment of time, is established. Because they focus on sci-fi, with Guardians of the Galaxy, and the focus on the Viking mythology with Thor. It's mixed with Viking mythology and sci-fi, and Ant-Man, the focus on the Earth. In this movie, Doctor Strange, they focus on magic. Because this movie is for the hardcore comic book fans, not for the casuals. Like, if you go to, if you're appealing to, let me say if Ring of Honor is on a major network, it's there for the hardcore wrestling fans who's, they don't watch a lot of WWE, and it's not for the casual fans who's just watching just WWE. They're there for the characters and the storyline. With Doctor Strange, it's more like a, this is kind of like they're for the hardcore comic book fans, but not for the casuals. It's trying to get the casuals get into this movie, into the character for the first time, because they're not really familiar to Doctor Strange. He's not really on the level like a Spider-Man or the Incredible Hulk or Iron Man and Captain America and Thor at this moment of the time. So yeah, what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ. Was it Damamu? Is it Damamu? That's basically gotta be the main villain in this movie. Yeah, I think with Cecilius, Mads Mikkelsen's character, he's kind of like there with his lackeys, but the main villain is Damamu. And they did a scene, with Stephen Strange with the time loop. He keeps getting killed off. He said, Damanu, I'm here to bargain. He keeps getting impaled, getting, obliterated. I understand it's trying to trick Damanu, because he's not going to face killing Damanu on his own, because he's not going to face that enemy with that type of power. So he's trying to trick him multiple times, and he took really, Caeculius and his, the Zealots, with him to another dimension. And also one funny part, like I said, I like the virtual effects in this movie. In one scene, you got Caecilius, he got slammed to the wall. He's about to get buried by bricks because he kind of refers time. He also kind of mastered the what's it called, the mystic of arts, or was it the mysterious arts it's called? Yeah, the mystic arts. And you got Mardo says, how do you know about it? And Stephen says, I got a photographic memory. So yeah, it really bugs a lot of hardcore fans about this movie, because like I said, in the first act in the movie he's just a normal doctor, and then you get to the second and third act, he's an old magical doctor. And also, you kind of confront the Ancient One for the second time. This is not being an asshole, because he knows the Ancient One's secret. I think Caecilius talked about it. He talked to Stephen about how the Ancient One lives longer. So, and also, he said about I'm Doctor Strange. I'm not Master Strange or Mr. Strange. Doctor Strange. I swear the oath, I'm here to save lives, not take lives. Because he killed this, Caecilius's, henchman in the hospital. he has to do it. He's like, yeah, because both got thrust into that situation. Because he said like, I'm here to hear I'm only here to hear my hands, not to fight in this mystical war. Because they took over like was it the Spectans? Yeah, the London, was it Secton or Specton, was fallen. They almost took over New York, and they saved Hong Kong. And also, let's talk about Wong. And also, the funny that Wong is also named as Wong, because you got Benedict Wong playing as Wong. There's one funny scene. They're in the Stephen Strange was in the library. He wants the book. He kind of mentions Beyonce. It's like, you gotta know Beyonce. And also, a moment later, you got Wong listening Beyonce. I think it was Should Have Put a Ring of It. And he's stealing the book using, he used like, what's it called? The rings. It allows you to transport into another portal. What's it called? The split rings? I can't really remember. That's cool. I like the special effects in this movie. But yeah, I think Wong's performance was good. And also when, like, when Doctor Strange hold it, he kind of mentions the Infinity Stone. He wear it until Infinity War. That'll be 2 years later. And then he got surrendered by Thanos. And then he got blipped as well. Like I said, you have to wait until when I review Infinity War. That'll be a couple weeks later. After this, I need to review, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther. It'll be 4 movies time, so about 3 weeks. I'm trying to end this movie review, end the series in like late May, early June, because Loki's on the 11th of June. Because, yeah, so much Marvel I covered this year, the MCU movies, WandaVision, and recently I just ended, reviewing the old episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then moving on to Loki in June. Anyway, back to this movie review. So, yeah, he did okay. Wong. I heard, like, I've done my research that the character was a bit racist in the comics. That was back in, like, the old days, probably in the 60s and 70s, because in America, they treat, like, Asian, like, people as a mockery compared to right now. It's just what it is. I think it was like Chinese, Korean people, but with I think they really hate the Japanese. This is like in World War II back then, because the Japs kind of bombed Pearl Harbor, and then the Yanks, the Americans kind of bombed Hiroshima. This is in World War II. Anyway, so yeah, the movie was, it was fine for what it is, and also, he was a dick to the Ancient One. Don't believe the fairy tale bit, the magical side, because, like I said, the Ancient One wants to help Stephen, cure his hands without cutting him open and reattach the nerve. And he, after he went through the virtual plane, some people compare it to Wanda's virtual plane in the post-credit scene in the season finale of WandaVision. That, it's kind of set up the sequel. I'll get to the sequel a bit later on. So, after his little journey, he said to the Ancient One, "Teach me," and the Ancient One says no. He got kicked out of the Temple Taj, and he was like sitting there for the last 5 hours. They begged him back in after sitting down for 5 hours, because he's down on his luck, because he's lost a lot of money because of his hands, trying to cure his hands, and now he became this magical doctor. So anyway, the sequel. The sequel of Doctor Strange, that's likely next year in 2022. It's supposed to be released of this year. Unfortunately, they pushed it back of next year. So it was supposed to be March of this year, but they pushed it back to March of next year. So it'll be 6 years after, the events of this movie. Yeah, he appeared in, and also another post-credit scene with him and Thor, because he said he doesn't like to drink tea, he kind of conjured up the tea turned into a pint of lager. And he talks about Odin. They kind of bring up that scene again in Ragnarok. And I don't know, something about Odin, because Odin in Ragnarok died. Because, by the way, I saw Ragnarok as well on TV. But anyway, so yeah, I think that, and also Doctor Strange 2. This is going to be the follow-up after the events of WandaVision. Because it's confirmed that everyone knows, like, it's going to be Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be doing it, and Elizabeth Olsen, And also, the guy who plays Mardo is going to be in it. Rachel McAdams going to be in it as well. There's rumors like she's not going to be in it. I think it has to do like work, because I'm guessing she's a busy actress. She has no time of being part of a Marvel movie. You know, he's got other projects in her mind. And yeah, I think that's it. And also, the voice of Damanu was also voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. Never knew that. I think he also does a lot voice parts, you know, voice actor parts in movies and TV shows. I think he voiced the dragons in the Hobbit movies. I'm not familiar with his voice acting work. Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he appeared in Sherlock. You know, that's a recent movie. I think, did he work with Robbie Downey Jr. in that Sherlock Holmes movie in the, was it late 2000s? I don't 100% sure. I haven't really saw those movies, you know. I know what Sherlock Holmes is, but I never read the books, never saw the movies. My like opinions on it's kind of like blank. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'll probably give the sequel a second chance. Not a second chance. I'll give the sequel a chance in next year, you know, because the success of WandaVision, is it gonna be good? You know, I can see Mardo because he kind of like turned heel. I know it's a wrestling term, but he's kind of leaning towards villain status. He might not be a villain in the second movie, but they might do the third movie down the road. And also, the director of the next Doctor Strange movie will be directed by Sam Raimi. I was like, fucking hell, Sam Raimi's gonna direct the first Marvel movie since 2007, because he used to direct the Spider-Man movies before Sony got the rights. You know, I'm a big fan of Sam Raimi's movies. You know, like the Spider-Man movies. You know, to see him like directing, you know, Doctor Strange. You know, what his version of the movie, that'll be good. That'll be proper fucking good. So, yeah. The focus on music. I'm guessing like Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange is a music fan. Man, I think it's a wasted opportunity to see, you know, because you got Peter Quill, who's also a music fan. I don't think they collab with music. That'd be good to see. You know, if they did like a scene, you know, they talked about music. You know, it'd be like a deleted scene. It'd be good. You know, they're both into music, but anyway, so you know, yeah, they put a lot of good music in this in the MCU. AC/DC, like, you know, Jackson 5 in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You know, and I think that's it. And Deadpool, they did, you know, I'm going to review Deadpool down the road. You know, don't know, it might not be this year, but next year, fingers crossed. You know, I'm a big fan of Deadpool. It's been like, it's been like, what, like 3 years until Deadpool, you know, the second movie. I think the third movie, that'll be released in 2023, so it'll be like, what, 5 years after the events of the second movie. So yeah, I covered most of it. Yeah, this movie is a 2-hour movie, a bit rushed, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 10. It's back and forth between 2 stars or 3.5. You know, 3.5, not 3.5 out of 10, but 3.5 stars. You know, it's back and forth between 2 stars or 3.5. Wasn't a perfect movie, but at the same time, wasn't a bad movie. We're not gonna see a bad MCU movies. You know, it's like NXT or AEW shows, you know, NXT pay-per-views or AEW pay-per-views. They turn out to be good, decent, or great shows. So, you know, this is kind of like a okay, decent movie. So, yeah, that's my review of Doctor Strange. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button. Click the bell. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube for more wrestling videos, Marvel videos, and more. Next time in the MCU movie review series, still on Phase 3, I'm gonna review another best movie. Really, I think this movie. I think the 2 movies so far. It's a slow start of Phase 3 of the MCU, but I think this movie kind of like pick up the pace. So yeah, the next review will be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That'll be next week. You know. By the time this review is recorded, it will be on Saturday. It'll be on Saturday. So you'll be midweek when I'm going to review Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So stay tuned for next week. And this is Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.